What's up, everyone? Vince Ingenito here with a new edition of Rewind Theater. This time, I am taking a look at the new Uncharted 4 story trailer. Very exciting stuff. Probably the best trailer they've released for the game yet. And I'm already going to stop us right here because there's something I want to show you guys that's kind of important here. Yeah, so right here in this opening shot. Now, here we see this is Sam. We've got Sam and Drake here. And here's the thing: this all predates the flashback events of Uncharted 3. We know that Drake is 15 at that point in the Uncharted 3 flashbacks. He's clearly younger here, and also like this would have to be. If they're going around together, this is before they part ways and before they grow up and everything, which is, so that dates it definitely before Uncharted 3's flashbacks. So where are they right now? That's the question. And, I mean, there's a lot of places this could be, but we know from some of the revelations in Uncharted 3 when he, spoilers, when he talks to Marlowe, kind of sitting around the table, we know that that Drake grew up he was raised in the St. Francis Boys Home after his mother committed suicide. And if it's at all based on the real life St. Francis Home for Boys, which is based that's in Bedfordshire, England, then I mean it's possible that at some point, because if you don't know, back in the old days, the St. Francis Boys Home was known for kind of had a history of child abuse, and there was a bunch of scandals surrounding that. So what if Sam and Drake were both kind of abused there, and they went on the run? And so I think my theory is they're actually on the banks of the Thames right now. And I'm not sure what bridge that could be. There's like 10 or 15 bridges that go over the Thames. So that's what I actually think. I think this is actually Sam and Drake on a joyride. They've escaped the St. Francis Boys Home, and they want to go and do other things with their life. And here's another shot. This shows pretty clearly that Sam is there in the background, and this is closer in the foreground is a much younger Drake. So that's my theory. That's what I think. I think they grew up. We've never really known about his early childhood or where he was, other than the St. Francis Boys Home bit. But that's what I think. I think they escaped, and this is them on the banks of the Thames. But who knows? We'll see.
You, me, together, we were destined for something great.
Yeah, so now this is something that's important to me. Greatness from small beginnings, right? Is what's on Drake's ring. There's this kind of concept that Uncharted deals with a lot, which is that that unfurls as you go, which is that Nathan, to some, might just be a common thief or an orphan and a runaway, but he hangs on to this belief and this feeling that there's something more for him out there, and it sounds like his brother holds that too. It sounds like, if you're listening to this speech from Sam, it sounds like the place he got that sense of purpose from, this place he got this idea that he was meant to do something incredible, comes, you can imagine an impressionable younger child hearing that from his older brother and just kind of buying into that. And even though Sam has left his life, it sounds like that's always stayed with Nathan. I think that's to a large degree what this game, what Uncharted 4 is going to be about, is about where that drive came from and where it's going to lead him for kind of better or worse. It's also worth noting, we're seeing here, we just saw him go into this crypt or this tomb. That's him with Sam, not with Sully. Normally Sully would be the kind of the tag along here, but here it's Sam. And then in the very next scene, we do have Sully. Sully is leaning out the side. He's riding shotgun, but that's clearly Sam there in the back along with them. So it looks like, aside from Sam just being a part of the story, it seems like he's going to be along for the gameplay quite a bit. In fact, I wouldn't be super surprised if he was actually, if the game kind of focused on the relationship between him and Nathan, much more so than we probably originally imagined. And of course, you just see this is just a beautiful, beautiful tableau. Visually, this is the most impressive I think that we've seen Uncharted 4 be so far. I think it's been pretty good looking so far, but I don't think it's necessarily been jaw-dropping, but this stuff is jaw-dropping. Really nice to see. This is interesting, right? So here we see Drake swimming underwater, and now I don't know. I mean, it's possible that this is just part of a cutscene. They are doing real-time cutscenes in Uncharted 4, where all the cutscenes are rendered in engine in real time. So it's possible this is just a cutscene, but it might not be. And if it wasn't, I believe that this would mark the first time where we'd actually be doing like honest to goodness underwater gameplay, which makes a lot of sense given Drake's expertise. But we've never really actually seen it in any substantial way. So maybe that's what. Maybe we'll see that as a bigger element in Uncharted 4, and this is kind of a little hint of that. Yeah, I want to back up just a little bit and hear that more clearly. So yeah, let's hear this.
Long time for him to get out of this game.
He's meant for this life.
So yeah, this is again another example of how this is all about the family that Drake has cobbled together. You know, the Lena and Sully colliding with the family he thought he lost, and for the most part never had. That to me is what again, like thematically, I feel like Uncharted 4 is shaping up to be a lot heavier than the previous games were, and you know, for a runaway, for someone who lost his mother at a young age, who grew up probably in an environment of abuse in this home. You know, Sully is a father to him, so this is a big deal. This is Nate's father figure having a man-to-man talk with his actual blood brother, or so we think anyway. Who knows? You know, this is the two men, older men who have in a way raised and impressioned Drake, kind of having a discussion about what's right for Nate. And it's kind of interesting. That's again the kind of thing we don't see in the Uncharted series. We haven't really seen before. This old family clashing maybe with the new family, and I'm really curious to see where that goes.
Last I checked, we're all a bunch of thieves.
All right, so this here is Rafe and Nadine. I think this is the closest look we've really gotten at them. So now we know that Rafe and Nadine are kind of the antagonists of Uncharted 4. That's kind of already been sussed out. Rafe is mentioned in one of the earlier gameplay demos where Sully tells Nate, like, "Hey, Rafe isn't here yet, but you know, obviously the assumption is that those mercenaries that were sent there were his." And then Nadine, we know, has some kind of history with Sully, but exactly what we don't know. They're looking rather dapper here. Looks like this is probably happening at the same. You know, you've noticed in that last scene, Sully and Sam were in formal wear, so this is most likely just the same scene.
Digging around where we shouldn't.
And if you know, just to rewind real quick, just hear what Rafe is saying.
Last I checked, we're all a bunch of thieves digging around where we shouldn't.
Yeah, so that's another interesting point here is that you know, Rafe is saying that we're all just a bunch of thieves, and you know, it's interesting to me because in the previous Uncharted's, I feel like to a large degree, there's the thieves and explorers, and they're kind of fighting it out, but under the guise of the interests of millionaires and con artists and businessmen. It looks like, based on what we've seen so far and in this story trailer, that this Uncharted is really going to be about thieves against thieves, and I think it's fitting in that way that it's called A Thief's End, because I think, you know, is the thief whose end we're going to see Drake? Maybe. Is it Rafe? Maybe. You know, is it Sully? Maybe. But I mean, this is really about stripping away kind of the artifice and the romance of what Uncharted is about, and saying, look, we're all just a bunch of rats, and I think that's kind of neat. I'm more interested in seeing Drake butt heads with another wily kind of, you know, wild-eyed adventurer, and not just kind of like a crusty old person with a lot of money who just wants a pretty thing for their a pretty bauble for their collection. And then Nadine, you know, obviously I'm very interested to see what her history is with Sully. Seems like a total badass in this trailer. Gets the better of Drake here, and you know, Drake's punched a person or two in his video game career. So yeah, she seems formidable. Want to see more what her character is like and what her history is with Sully.
We shouldn't.
Shame we're not on the same side.
I am a man of fortune, and I must seek my fortune.
So that phrase is really important. I think it's been hinted at several times and pretty much all but revealed that basically the main pirate or the main kind of legend they're chasing here is that of the esteemed pirate Henry Avery, who made his name in the late 1600s. And we've seen his name on maps, we've seen statues of him, but that quote in particular, "I'm a man of fortune and I must seek my fortune," is directly attributed to him. And it also has some kind of thematic resonance here, I think. This is about who Drake is as a person, or if nothing else, what he believes himself to be.
I am a man of fortune, and I must seek my fortune.
It's his drive, this is what he does. This is all he's ever been, all he's ever known.
Are you ready to seek your fortune?
And this is gameplay footage that we've seen already with Sam and Nathan. And here Nadine is questioning him about where this artifact is. There's always an artifact, right? We don't know. It's probably if I was going to guess, it's probably the cross that we saw in a couple of shots previous. But it's Uncharted. There's always an artifact to chase. So who knows? And this is gameplay we've seen as well. Uncharted stuff, planes, explosions. So that this part, we've seen this already before. And but here we see it overlaid with Drake saying that he promised he was done with this life, and this is where the trailer really kicks into high gear emotionally. Uncharted 4 is also going to definitely be about Nate's crisis of like we were kind of setting up a little bit before, choosing between his old family and his new one, and Elena is like the symbol of his new family, and also the symbol of him choosing to live and lead. Kind of a normal, happy, stable life after an entire life of being on the run and being shot at and having his life threatened and risked and all the craziness. And he's made this promise to Elena. That's it. Like they're married. This is over. He's promised her, and that's his wife. I mean, like you make a promise like that to your wife, that's very serious. And it seems like the game. In terms of its narrative, is going to take that pretty seriously. You cannot lightly make a promise like that to the one you love and go back on it. But Nate, obviously, for some reason, feels like he has to.
I made a promise that I was done with this life.
How long have we been chasing this thing?
Long time.
Real long time.
Yeah.
Just you and me.
This is more setup of, again, that same theme, like the call of the old family, the one that he thought he lost, is just so strong for Nate. And we also know from the previous story teaser that we got that Sam is supposedly in some kind of deep, deep trouble. Like, this is not just about, hey, let's get the old gang back together and have fun and make some money. This is about, like, Sam's life and freedom hangs in the balance. And that's another unbreakable promise, right? Like, there's the promise to that you make to your spouse, and then there's a promise that you make, an unspoken promise with your blood. And Nate probably already likely feels guilt about the fact that all this time Sam's been alive and he never went back for him because he didn't know, and so he certainly doesn't feel like he can tell his brother, "I'm sorry, you got to figure your own problems out. I have a life now." In order to unify that family, the old family and the new, he needs to be able to help his brother. But in order to do that, he needs to lie to his wife, and it's a tough scenario. And the trailer treats that with some heft, and I hope the story does too.
No offense to these guys, but they don't get it.
If you're done lying to me, then you should stop lying to yourself.
The biggest pirate treasure of all time is within our grasp.
Yeah, and
Look, Nate,
That's-
I'm gonna make you a one-time offer.
I like this scene.
Drop everything.
That's not. See, now it's funny because they pull a little trick with us. Because earlier in the boat, it seemed like that was clearly Sam in there with him, but here it's actually not. It's definitely Rafe, and we get the VO from him as well. And this is interesting because it looks like this is almost like the Marlowe moment, where in Uncharted 3 they drug Nathan And then he wakes up and they're sitting there at a table, and it's like the two enemies, but they're sitting there having a pretty real talk, and this is really like thief to thief, person to person discussion. And Rafe is making a very strong and point to Nate in a pretty dramatic way. He's telling him, look, you've got a family, like you have a family that exists right now, and it's time for you to go back to it. It's time for you. You give it a good shot, but you're a family man now, and it's time for men like me to take over and take the riches. And it's there's something kind of sad about the way this scene is cut. Like our hero that we've come to believe in is being told your time has come to kind of an end. That there's no more here for you.
Drop everything. Go home. Live your life. Or we can just...
God, the editing here is terrific. Yeah, and I just want to bring back, especially to a moment here that really just like hit me like right in the gut, because I noticed it back. I noticed it back when we first saw it in the last trailer. Right here, all throughout this scene when you watch in the original trailer, it's Nate the way we've never seen him before. He is so run down. You can tell he's so bored. You can tell he feels like he's settled. You can tell that he loves Elena, and he doesn't feel like he's settled in terms of Elena, but in terms of a life, he feels like this is not what he was meant for. This is not the dream his brother sold him that he spent his whole life believing. And with every one of these he stamps, he feels like another part of him dies. And I think we've all done a job like that in our lives, right? And like that's where Nate is. And like as someone who, as a fan who's seen him as a kind of like a flying by the seat of his pants action hero, seeing him here, especially to this music, and to Rafe kind of telling him it's time to hang it up and settle down, is like really hard. It's really hits hard.
Live your life. Or we can just end it right here.
There's got to be another way.
I need you on this one.
Yeah, and of course they're referring there to the stakes of all this. Where it seems like Sam's life hangs in the balance, and how he needs his brother's help in order to do it.
You ever wonder, like, different choices, how we might have ended up?
No. I like the hand we've been dealt.
Love, very, very strong ending. I don't know exactly. I mean, you've made a lot of choices, and he's made a lot of. Drake has made a lot of choices throughout his life. I'm not sure if you could be referring to a more specific choice they made at some point. Maybe whatever choice landed them in prison together, because we know that they were. It seems like they were in prison for something. Maybe killing a guard, or maybe they killed the guard while trying to escape, and one of them got. Nathan got away, and Sam didn't. So we don't know exactly what he could be referring to there, but and then of course at the end. We see again the release date, April 26th. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got here. Not a whole lot of new information, but a lot of interesting insight into what some of the themes and the overall tone of Uncharted 4 is going to be. So, what do you think? What do you think about this first shot, though? That's what I really want to know. Do you think this could be on the banks of the Thames? What do you think? Is there anything to my theory that the St. Francis Boys' Home that Nathan grew up in was actually the one in Bedfordshire, England, and that this is actually them escaping or on the road escaping in the UK? Let me know what you think in the comments, and for more on Uncharted 4 and all things PlayStation and video games, keep it right here on IGN.